Arknights is currently one of my favorite games of all time, and with the influx of new players, I thought this was the perfect time to make a beginner guide to help you guys get started. This will be a simplified version with an introduction into a series that I hope to make to help you guys on your beginning Arknights journeys. First thing I wanted to talk about is going to be the currencies, so we'll go ahead and name them, and then I'll get more into detail as we go. So LMD, this is going to be the blue guy up here, Lugman dollars, and then we got Arundum, which is going to be your red one, and then you have Orgonite Prime, which is going to be your gold. So talking about Lugman dollars, the LMD here, basically this is going to be your general currency. So anything for leveling, daily recruits, which we'll talk about in a little bit. A couple ways to get these. You pretty much get them from everything. So whenever you do like your standard stages and stuff like that, you'll get a little bit of LMD. There's LMD stages as a resource. They do have tiers escalating up all the way to CE-6 for a lot of these ones, with these ones being kind of the highest of the highest. So basically you're going to get the most bang for your buck, but they are going to take a little bit of time because you need elite 2s, level 20s, and so you're going to need a fully developed team to be able to kind of start out. So you do have some of these that, you know, at the very beginning, you're able to go in here and grind away. I don't really recommend doing that too much at the very beginning, as there's so much ways to get it, as well as like missions and stuff like that. You get daily missions and you get weekly missions that give you LMD as well, campaign. And then I think a lot of you guys will have bulletin boards if you just started that give you all kind of different resources. It takes a while to actually get through, and you get tons of resources from it. Arundum, this is going to be your summonable currency. So basically the bread and butter of the game. You're going to use this to summon on banners. Your banners here are going to be, you have a beginner banner that's a discount here, 3,800. You do get a free 3,800 at the very beginning. So you will be able to pull on this one, assuming that you do this and not, you know, one of the other banners. But 3,800, this is going to give you a guaranteed 6-star if you pull on the banner right away, and then you're able to get a guaranteed 5-star or above on the next 10 pulls. So it's kind of up to you if you want to risk it. And then going into just like general banner stuff, 6,000 is going to be for the 10 pull, 600 for a 1 pull, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get too much into rates. If you guys want to see like a specific video on actual banners and what I suggest, I'll make that one as well. As far as rerolling and just kind of what you start at the beginning, I just don't really recommend rerolling in Arknights. There's a ton of different units that you're able to get from your beginner banners, and personally everybody's kind of useful eventually. Shiny would probably be the weakest, you know, air quotes on that one, as far as like starters to start with, because healing isn't very prominent at the very beginning. You're not taking a massive amount of damage. It's a little bit easier. So obviously healing isn't going to be like your number one necessity at the very start, and you'd want somebody like Exia, Silver Ash, Angelina, somebody that's able to do quite a bit of damage. So different ways that you can actually get Arundum is going to be from your dailies and weeklies again, 100 for your dailies, 500 for your weeklies. And then I think the bulletin board also gives you a little bit. Campaign missions might give you some every once in a while, but for the most part, you're going to be getting them from daily weeklies as well as Annihilation. So do not take too much to Annihilation. This is going to be your bread and butter for your whole entire Arknights journey. This is basically going to be your best way to get Arundum, but take it like as you can. Okay, so you're going to have a built up team. Basically the premise behind Annihilation is it sends waves of enemies after you, and it's all the way up to 400. Basically you have to get all 400 and have no leaks in order to get the full amount. So that's just going to take a little bit of time. You're going to have to grind up your units quite a bit, but just pay attention to some of the rewards. So basically you have progress on a lot of these, and they're going to give you all kinds of different resources, LMD, your EXP tickets, as well as green and yellow certificates, which we'll talk about here in a couple seconds. And then they'll also increase your weekly reward limit. And then some of them just give you straight out LMD. So some of these ones are on rotation. You have quite a bit to do. So you'll never kind of run out of different Annihilations, and some of them rotate after so many days and so forth. And then you eventually build up your weekly. So your weekly can actually go to 1,800. So just kind of keep a note of that as you progress. You want to kind of not just sit here and do the same one like I do on an auto deploy and just let it go. We do have actually skip tickets now, and you get about 5 of those a week. So you actually have to do a manual run once a week, but basically you get skip tickets as long as you do your dailies. The next way is going to be on the cert store. So I'm not going to talk a ton about certs. I'm really just going to focus on these two top here, which is going to be green and yellow certs. So the best way to get green and yellow certs is going to be from the Annihilations as well as pulling. So basically if you get a 5-star and above, that will give you gold certs. If you get anything lower than that, so 4-star down to 2-star, you will actually get the green certs. You can token exchange them. I don't have any right now, but basically you go in here after like a big summoning pull, you token exchange them, and then you get all your different certs. Now, a recommendation that I was told very early on is green certs. You want to try to clear out monthly, because this does reset about monthly, that you want to clear out basically tier 1. You always want to come in here, grab the headhunting permits, grab the Arundum, and then grab all the other stuff and do the clear out for the actual first tier. Second tier, I've been always told to get headhunting permits and then just kind of get what you need, because there are going to be resources here that help you out, you know, different resources for different things, you know, leveling and all that different stuff. But you want to be careful with that, because if you are free to play, you're not going to have too much access to these like all the time. So you just want to pay attention, because it's usually just the best to grab your headhunting permit around them, and you don't want to have a situation where it's a monthly reset and you don't have enough to get like just basically tier 1. As far as gold here, so the gold certs is going to be kind of a higher rarity. You do not want to spend these unless you're like really wanting stuff. So I would just definitely not recommend spending these on resources and stuff like that. I know it's very tempting, especially early on, but I just don't think it's worth it unless you're just planning to spend a bunch. Now, as far as an actual character, for example, right now Blaze is in the shop. She is going to be a 6-star, and that's going to help you out if you're able to get her and stuff like that. But there are going to be times where 180, you're going to have a really good 6-star. You're going to want to save for that. So if you're free to play, make sure you're saving no gold certs for a good 6-star that comes into the shop. If you grab the headhunting permits, make sure that you realize that they escalate. So if you buy the first one, you probably want to max it all the way out, or you're going to kind of lose efficiency and you're not getting your worth. Basically, it goes 1, 2, 5, and then 1 10 pole, and then 2 10 poles. So if you start buying these, make sure that you buy the entire thing out, because otherwise you're going to be kind of screwed. I think it's like 270 for the entire thing, 280. Can't exactly remember. But you're going to make sure that you want to grab all these if you start it, because it's going to be a waste otherwise. So red certs also have their own resource stage. They have all kinds of different units in here. A lot of these units are very useful, but really the big thing you're going to want is chip catalyst. By the time you start using these for E2s, you'll kind of have an idea about red certs and how to kind of use them, because this is about E2. This is what you're going to do to E2 your units. So the next way to get a rundum, I'm not going to talk too much about the base because I actually want to make like an entire base guide, but there are different ways to get your base to make a rundum here. So you can do the Orgenium shards, which converts into a rundum. This is kind of a slow burn way to get a rundum, and some people do recommend doing it and some people like to do it, but most of the time people just sit on LMD and grind up the LMD. That's just personally what I've been told, but there is a way to do it, and I just wanted to kind of highlight that in case eventually you get to that point you want to make that choice for yourself. So the last way to get a rundum is going to be actually using your premium currency, which is your Arknight Prime. This guy right here is going to be your premium currency. It costs money, but you also do get it from 3-starring most stages. So basically one of these bad guys is going to be about 180 for your rundum. I don't necessarily recommend doing this unless you're down bad for a particular unit, because this is also going to be a way to get outfits, which we'll talk about here in a couple seconds. But this is basically like, hey, I need to get this particular unit. I have enough OP that I've saved from all the stages I've done. Okay, I'll convert a little bit, but really if you're free to play, you want to kind of be careful with this one. The other way to use Arknight Prime is going to be for your outfits. So outfits, if you're into skins and you kind of like the different outfits, this is going to be a great way to grab skins if you're conservative with the way that you grab these and all the stages that you get at the very beginning. It seems very overwhelming at the beginning when you get all the OP, but just try to make sure you're saving them and using them on outfits and different things that you want, because basically as a free to play, you are able to get a lot of outfits as long as you're able to kind of maintain that. The other way to use this, and I have never used it this way, basically if you're a well, you can use it this way, but you can regen your sanity. You get all kinds of different restore pods and stuff like that from your weeklies. So I honestly have never really used these, and for the most part I'm running out on my days and stuff like that from the ones that I get from my weeklies. So I would never really recommend doing this unless you were just wailing out and you're just trying to get as far as you can as fast as you can. The last way to do it is going to be for your enrichment packs. So basically you have enrichment packs every couple of levels. I think it starts out at 5 and then it's every 10 from there. So at level 5 you'll get an enrichment pack. So you'll get one that costs an OP, and that cost kind of goes up and evaluates as you kind of go through the different levels. I think the first one at level 5 costs 1 OP, and then the one at 15 costs 1 OP, and then you get a couple different resources and stuff like that. I've heard people say that you should skip it based on your outfits. They will stack up in your shop, so it's not like you lose it forever if you go from 15 to 25 and you don't buy the 15 one. But it's kind of up to you how you want to do that. I personally bought them. I have not really ran into any OP problems, but I am a light spender, so it's kind of up to you on what you want to do with your OPs. One thing I want to talk about is daily recruit. So daily recruit is going to be something you can go on every single day, and basically you can go in here and you can fill all these up. I think you start out with 3 or 2 of these, so as you kind of progress you'll be able to unlock more and more. But you can go in here and they give you all kinds of different things. They even give you instructions if you don't kind of understand what's going on, percentages, all that different stuff, all the different units you can get. I will link at the very end of this video kind of the resources and where you can go, because you actually have different things that will show you what tags. You can click the tags and it'll tell you like the odds and probability of who you're going to get and how you're going to get and what kind of units you can get. Basically, if you do like anybody like a guard AoE and you put it at 9 hours, that's going to give you the highest probability. Now you can kind of get away with doing like 740, and you can see that right at 740 it changes from the highest probability. And if you don't like the tags, you can reset and then kind of go from there. Like, DP recovery, we'll just do that for example. I'll show you guys and I'll expedite it. So you click it, you're like, okay, let's say bing, 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 9 hours is up, or you can expedite it. Depends on what you want to do. Hire. And this is a good way to get very early on units. You can actually get 5 stars and a 6-star. Now these tags do look a little bit different. They have like a top operator and a senior operator. Very rare, but you can get it, and you're able to sit here and, you know, kind of see some of the 5 stars and 6 stars you're able to get and stuff like that. So you do have a chance of actually getting pretty good luck from these daily recruits. So don't miss them. Kind of go in there every single day. They are part of your daily missions, so just make sure to grab them if you can. Lastly, I want to talk about the actual resources in the game that are available to you if you are new. So A-Ship is going to help you out a ton with operator information. You can go in here and see any operator that you want, click on the operator, or give you a full rundown on what they do, how they do it. Even people that are in the CN, you have enemy info, you have infrastructure, you have operators, you have materials, all kinds of different stuff on A-Ship that's going to help you out a ton. The Game Press is another one that does a very similar thing. There's just going to be tons of information, story information if you're looking for particular stuff like that. Game Press is going to be a little bit of a helpful option here to help you kind of progress through different things, tier lists, all that different stuff, operators, recruitment tools, as well as a simulator if you want to go through that and see what's going on with that. And then lastly, just Arknights Discord, my Discord, tons of people in there to help you out. Reddit forums if you dare to go into Reddit, but mostly it's just going to be Game Press, A-Ship, and then the Discords that's going to help you out the most.